You know, me and him have been friends for 16 years.
I know you had a song like 15 years ago,
yeah,
too,
we've
right?
been like besties for a long time.
People always say that. But
No, this is real. Like, no cross the line.
Besties, like you always kept in touch and you always talked?
We would keep in touch. He would come see me when I had my plays. When I had my baby shower, he would come. Like, we were really friends.
Well, T, that's my girl, my friend, my family.
Do you have sex?
That's my love, my soldier, my life. She my everything, and I trust her.
Because you bought her a Bentley truck.
Yes.
So the implication is that's your girlfriend.
She my life. I love her to death.
Everyone's jaws hit the floor when we found out these two actually went and tied the knot. Like, be for real. There are plenty of things people do for money, but I never, ever thought Toni Braxton and Birdman were the real deal. It always felt off. Birdman seemed like the type to blow his whole bag just to keep her happy, no matter the cost. So, here's the wild part. Back in August 2024, they secretly got married. Yeah, a secret wedding. After all those years of playing coy in public, they suddenly went quiet when it came to saying, I do. But 2 weeks later, Toni tried to annul the whole thing. Like, girl, what? She realized quick that she might have made a huge mistake. And let's be honest, this is one of the rare moments I actually agree with Tasha K. Because seriously, what kind of match was that? Toni Braxton, the R&B icon, the legend, marrying Birdman, then spinning around to file for divorce just 2 days later? That's pure chaos, and Toni does not need to be caught up in all this mess. But here's where it gets even juicier. Birdman had been dodging this marriage thing for over 6 years. 6 whole years of Toni waiting like, okay, when we doing this? She played the long game though, stayed cool, stayed loyal. And when the timing was finally right, she made sure that ring came with a guaranteed check.
Happy. I ain't got money, because I'm going to make sure of that. So what's the problem with you with me?
Now, rumor has it, Birdman's on the hook for a serious payout, coming straight out of his $160 million fortune. Whew! You know that stings, especially since this is the same man who once shorted Lil Wayne on his money. Guess karma came knocking in designer heels this time? So what made Toni run for the exit that fast? Let's break it down. First off, Toni Braxton and Birdman have been what she calls good friends for nearly 20 years. But let's be real, after 2 decades of being friends, you expect us to believe nothing ever happened between them? Please, that chemistry was bubbling way before they made it official. Toni swore they never crossed any lines before they started dating, but come on, there's no way they didn't have some kind of spark going on. Anyway, Birdman has always been super private about his relationships, so when word hit the streets in 2016 that the two were actually dating, everyone was shook. Rumors even claimed they eloped a year later in 2017. Both of them denied it, of course. Toni was out here saying, we're just hanging out, while Birdman played it off like it was no big deal. But you know how it goes, acting all low-key while still showing up together everywhere. Real situationship energy, if you ask me.
Never know what could happen.
Then came that mysterious blind item that had everyone connecting the dots. It spilled major tea about a certain former A-plus list aging singer from a famous musical family who ditched her longtime boyfriend because she was drowning in debt and needed to support her family. And instead of choosing love, she allegedly went for the money, hooking up with a man who was living on borrowed time because too many people were after him. Sound familiar? Fans instantly linked that to Toni and Birdman. I mean, the clues were too obvious. A powerhouse singer with money troubles and a hip-hop mogul with enemies? Yeah, that blind item might as well have had their names printed right on it. Things really started spinning out of control when Birdman's name got dragged into some wild business rumors and Toni was caught right in the middle of it all. People started whispering about money that wasn't adding up, unpaid debts, and even tension inside his own circle. Birdman had always carried that boss energy, but behind closed doors, it was getting messy fast. Toni tried her best to stay graceful, but how could she when her man's reputation was taking hit after hit? Every time Birdman's name popped up online, it came with some new headline about lawsuits or shady deals. Fans couldn't stop asking how someone like Toni ended up in all that chaos. Some even said she was trying to clean his image, but honestly, it was dragging hers down too. Birdman didn't make things easier either. One day he was showering Toni with gifts. The next, he was out doing interviews acting like everything was perfect. But people close to them knew the truth. Things were far from sweet behind the scenes. Toni was already frustrated, but Birdman's constant PR drama pushed her patience to the edge. And the worst part? Every time Toni showed up at an event, the media didn't even care about her music anymore. They just wanted Birdman drama. The spotlight turned toxic, and even Toni's team started whispering that this relationship was turning into a full-blown circus. Toni tried to hold it together, but deep down, she was tired. The constant headlines, the fake smiles, and the endless whispers started wearing her down fast. She wasn't just dealing with a breakup, she was dealing with public humiliation. Every time she scrolled online, there was another post clowning her for sticking with Birdman, and that hit her pride hard. Her friends noticed the change too. Toni started skipping events, canceling appearances, and spending more time alone. People around her said she'd go quiet for days just to avoid all the noise. And while Birdman was out acting unbothered, Toni was stuck doing damage control, pretending everything was fine while fighting her own emotions behind the scenes. Even on camera, you could see it. The sparkle in her eyes started fading. The woman who once owned the stage with confidence now looked drained, like she was carrying the weight of everyone's opinions on her back. Some fans even said, "Toni doesn't look happy anymore." And they weren't wrong.
I think I need a person who would understand that.
Behind closed doors, Toni was questioning everything, her career, her choices, and why she ever let Birdman get so close in the first place. It wasn't just about love anymore, it was about survival. And as her patience started cracking, one thing became clear. Toni was ready to take back her peace, no matter who got mad about it. And honestly, that blind item fits Toni's story perfectly. Let's not forget, Toni Braxton filed for bankruptcy twice, with the second one hitting back in 2010 after she had to cancel her Las Vegas shows due to her battle with lupus. That moment hit her hard, both emotionally and financially. She's always been open about how much she's done for her family, how her sisters leaned on her to cover bills and keep things afloat while she was fighting her own health struggles. When Toni talked about Birdman, she made it sound like he gave her something she hadn't felt in years: comfort. She once said, "It's comforting to have someone tell you it's okay to be ill, that you don't have to be Wonder Woman all the time." That line alone tells you how exhausted she must have been pretending to be strong for everyone. Lupus takes a real toll, and Toni carried that pain quietly for years. She admitted there were times she felt ashamed, like no one would want to be with a woman who had lupus. That insecurity ran deep, and it messed with how she saw herself in relationships. But with Birdman, she said she could finally relax. Toni described it so sweetly, saying she could just throw on a little hat or scully, some lipstick, a bit of mascara, and still feel beautiful. No pressure, no pretending, just peace. And apparently Birdman saw that realness and loved it too, because before long, he popped the question. He really did. For a moment, it looked like maybe, just maybe, Toni had found someone who understood her beyond the fame and fortune. When Toni showed off that massive rock, the internet went wild. She posted a picture of her and Birdman after the engagement, and that ring? You could see it from outer space. Birdman reportedly dropped a whole $1 million on that diamond just to make sure Toni said yes. He even went on the Wendy Williams show, gushing about her and calling her his family.
Wasn't keeping it a secret.
Let's see that ring, girl. Show us that ring.
He did good. He did good. He did good.
But here's where it gets weird. If they were so in love, why didn't they just get married already? Toni sounded genuinely happy when she talked about getting married again. She even told Wendy that they almost had a wedding date, but then some messy family drama came up and ruined the timing.
There's no date. We almost had a date. Well, we had 2 dates, but we were doing Braxton Family Values and we were going through a little drama, and I was like, okay, the wedding is a good thing to get all of us sisters together. Yeah. But I couldn't get us all together, and I said, the wedding's not a good reason because it's messing up my relationship a little bit. He's like, come on, Michelle, set a date. I know.
That's what he calls you?
He calls me Michelle. Doesn't call me Toni at all. That's my middle name, Toni Michelle.
After that, everything started getting delayed. First a few months, then a year, then it was like the wedding didn't even exist anymore. Toni was waiting for the right moment, but Birdman, he was ready. According to sources, if it were up to him, he would have said, "I do," that same week. Then things got even messier. Toni claimed she lost her $1 million ring after leaving it inside her luggage while traveling. Like, how does that even happen? She said the bag got stolen, and poof, the ring was gone. $1 million just vanished. Some fans weren't buying that story, though. They felt like something about that whole situation didn't add up. And not long after that ring incident, the two of them announced they were calling it quits. But of course, people didn't believe it. Rumors started flying that they'd already secretly tied the knot and were just pretending to be broken up. Toni shut that all the way down, saying loud and clear that they had never been married. Then, out of nowhere, she posted a stunning picture of herself in a red dress with a cryptic caption that had everyone talking. Toni's caption said it all. Starting a new chapter isn't always an easy choice, but always choose to be chosen. Whew, that line had fans reading between every single word. Was she throwing shade, dropping hints? Because it sure sounded like there was some serious tea brewing behind the scenes. Even though Toni tried to keep things classy, acting like the breakup was peaceful, it clearly wasn't. Behind those smiles, the drama was bubbling. Word on the street is that Toni wasn't the only woman Birdman was entertaining. Long before she came into the picture, Birdman was allegedly involved with Kimora Lee. And get this, he was still funding her lavish lifestyle even after Toni stepped in. Birdman had the nerve to publicly praise Kimora, calling her the love of his life and saying he was thankful for everything she'd done for him. Excuse me? So Kimora's the love of his life, but Toni's just family and a soldier? That's not love, that's confusion. And honestly, that right there was one of the biggest cracks in their relationship. Even when Toni and Birdman tried patching things up, they reunited on stage during one of her Atlanta shows. Kimora was still lurking in the background. Sources say she had Birdman wrapped around her finger, pulling strings whenever she wanted something. Apparently, Kimora didn't want to date him publicly anymore because she thought his image didn't fit her high fashion world. Basically, he was good for the streets, not the runway. But here's where it gets truly wild. When Toni and Birdman finally decided to make things official last year, Birdman was still caught up with Kimora. Yep, you heard that right. Allegedly, on the very day of his wedding to Toni, Birdman showed up super late, and then, wait for it, he left early. He actually told people he had to help someone with something, and that someone was rumored to be Kimora Lee herself. Imagine that, leaving your own wedding to go handle something for another woman. And to make it worse, he reportedly didn't even apologize to Toni for it. Not a text, not a word, nothing. That's pure chaos. No wonder Toni later said, "choose to be chosen," because she clearly realized she was never the one being chosen in that relationship. But for real, what was Toni doing caught up in this circus? Like, come on now. A woman with her legacy and status playing games with Birdman? Nobody saw that coming? At her big age and with her resume? That was the last kind of drama anyone expected from the queen herself. But Toni clearly had a plan. She wasn't sticking around for love. She was sticking around long enough to cash out. And when the timing was right, she did exactly that, filed those divorce papers and walked away with a serious bag. Now here's where it gets sneaky. They allegedly signed the divorce papers using just their initials, TB and BW, real low-key style. The documents reportedly stated their marriage was irretrievably broken. Ooh, that's cold. Both of them were clearly done and wanted no one digging into the details. They even made sure everything stayed sealed and quiet like nothing ever happened. Since then, neither Toni nor Birdman has been spotted wearing any wedding bands. And if you go scrolling through their socials, good luck finding a trace of their relationship. Every photo, every post, gone. They both scrubbed each other clean from the internet like they were trying to erase history.
Drama, family drama.
Of course, once that news broke, social media went wild. Fans were losing it, saying things like, Toni Braxton and Birdman being a couple was one of the wildest crossovers we've ever seen. LMAO. Others joked, I'm still pretending Toni, the Braxton living legend, did not let Birdman under her skirt. The internet had no chill. And the wildest part, Toni filed for divorce just 2 weeks after the wedding. 2 weeks! That's not even enough time to finish the honeymoon champagne. People couldn't believe it. So now I gotta ask, what do you all think about this whole messy saga? Was it real love or just business with benefits? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Cause trust me, the juice we got coming next is even spicier. See you in the next one, sippers.